Well, the internet's been a little bonkers over the weekend, but don't worry because we are here to bring you up to speed on a few ridiculous stories that stood out, starting with the massive oopsie that took place on a platform that continues to just trip over itself at an increasingly rapid pace, Twitch.tv.
What the hell happened to you, bro?
Yeah, you used to be cool.
You were beautiful once. Now, of course, by now, everyone online is well aware that Twitch recently lost arguably their biggest consistent live streamer, Tyler Ninja Blevins, the great white whale, to their competitor, Microsoft's Mixer, in a deal that we valued well into the millions of dollars. Some people were saying we lowballed it.
Yeah.
Truth is, we don't know.
Nobody knows.
Ninja definitely got fucking paid.
Sure.
We can all agree on that. Twitch's response to his departure seemed to be lukewarm at best, first stripping away his verified status on the site, and then testing out what they're calling a new feature on what's left of his channel, where anyone who visits would be informed that the person they were looking for was in another castle, gamer joke, but also highlighting other streams that the viewer might be interested in as an attempt to keep that viewer on Twitch.
So it appeared as though Ninja was seemingly fine with the decision, and it's not like he really had a choice in the matter, considering that Twitch essentially owns his previous landing page. But it also seemed like a decent enough way to promote others on the platform. But instead of directing an employee to create some kind of curated list of streamers that could be promoted, which would have been the correct move and actually helped smaller yet still very talented streamers to grow their audience, Twitch did what most companies do, and they took the easiest possible path with the least amount of effort and just had the suggestions filled with what seemed to be an algorithmically defined list of Fortnite streams with high viewership at whatever point in time that someone had clicked over to his old channel. Let the algorithm decide.
Let's let the algorithm take care of this.
It always works.
Because otherwise, we gotta pay a human being to make,
Decisions.
decisions.
Yeah, I think it was even simpler than that. It seemed to primarily be just whatever the highest streaming channel at any point in time was.
Yeah. Also, that the badge on Twitch, to be clear, is not a verified badge. It's a partner badge. And Ninja technically is not a partner anymore, so it's pretty by the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Still, though, fine, whatever. It's their site, and we'd imagine that they were pretty upset to lose one of their biggest performing channels, and they needed to at least try to do something to offset that loss. But here's the problem. Since the featured channels weren't curated by anyone at the company and were just the result of their algorithm adding channels that were using the Fortnite tag, it could be pretty easily exploited. And it didn't take long at all for that to happen.
No, it didn't.
Cut to this weekend when a throwaway channel using the Fortnite tag was broadcasting hardcore pornography live on Twitch for anyone to see. Uh-oh.
Yeah, yikes.
This, surprisingly, is not too rare for the streaming platform. It's happened plenty of times in the past. The channels usually get nuked pretty quick by whatever admins happen to catch it, but it happens.
Yes. It's like not a weekend goes by, really, where there isn't a porn channel popping up, it seems like. So, anyways, this time, thanks to their new promotion feature being tested out on Ninja's vacant channel, the hardcore pornography was promoted to anyone who went there, including, we assume, children who definitely make up a decent amount of his audience. The porn stream quickly rose to be the #1 promoted video on that page, much to the obvious dismay of Ninja himself, who quickly made a video in response to the whole ordeal, apologizing for what Twitch had done. In the video posted to his Twitter account, he claimed that he and his team had tried to make his transition over to Mixer as smooth as possible for both platforms, but that he'd also let a few things that Twitch was doing just slide in an effort to try and remain professional.
Well, mask off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he then spoke about how his channel was the only one on the entire platform that was used as a promotional tool, and that anyone else who'd stopped streaming or switched platforms still had the same landing page as before, a landing page that showed him as offline but featured things like clips and VODs. Then he brings up the fact that because of this promotional feature, a channel hosting porn was being shown on his old channel, and that he has no say in this stuff despite it still being tied to his brand, and that he's trying to get the channel shut down completely to avoid things like this because even if it wasn't a porn stream, he believes that anyone promoted on that page could potentially be tied to his brand.
And he's not wrong. Kids are very dumb. This is a Ninja-approved stream.
Yeah, kids are real dumb. And just the amount of viewership Ninja would get, even not being there at all, you got to imagine there was at least one mom or dad.
Let's put on the Ninja channel.
Walked in on their prepubescent child watching hardcore porno.
At least we don't have to have the conversation anymore. That's where babies come from.
No more video games for you, son.
Video games ruin another life.
Yep. Lastly, he apologized to everyone or anyone's kids who saw the porn stream as a result of this. It's not your fault, Tyler.
True. By the end of the day, after this had all blown up on social media, the company finally switched his channel back to the way that it should have looked after his departure. The CEO of Twitch, Emmett Shear, also issued a statement regarding the problem via Twitter, saying, "Our community comes to Twitch looking for live content. To help ensure they find great live channels, we've been experimenting with showing recommended content across Twitch, including on streamers' pages that are offline. This helps all streamers as it creates new community connections. However, the lewd content that appeared on the Ninja offline channel page grossly violates our terms of service, and we've permanently suspended the account in question. We have also suspended these recommendations while we investigate how this content came to be promoted." On a more personal note, I want to apologize directly to Ninja that this happened. It wasn't our intent, but it should not have happened. No excuses.
I love the phrase, "I would like to apologize personally to Ninja."
Yes.
We're using gamer tags in this apology.
Oh, we're using our made-up names.
Yeah, the whole drama just adds to what has been a pretty bad year publicly for Twitch, especially coupled with what appears to be a growing amount of inconsistency when it comes to who gets banned, what they get banned for, and how long the ban lasts on the platform. Yeah, it's weird. A year ago, I'd be like, this is such a well-run platform, really well-moderated.
Sure, there are problems, but there's problems on every platform.
Yeah,
and
compared to YouTube, the administrators and moderators here on Twitch, like, they have the community's best interests at heart. And like, flash forward to a year later, it's just like,
wow, this is a mess.
ugh, God, no one's happy.
Yeah.
But hey, big win for Microsoft, am I right? Anyway, speaking of consistency, you know something that is consistent? Jacob Wohl being a total piece of shit. And if you thought he'd stop proving that point after all of his other scandals and after having his main soapbox taken out from under him, you're dead wrong, because nothing can stop a man who's determined to have the most pathetic public persona in modern history. If for some reason you're new to this channel and have no idea who Jacob Wohl is, we'll save everyone else some time and just tell you to go to our main channel page, search for his name. We've covered him extensively. There's a lot there. But in short, he's a fucking right-wing weirdo who is constantly creating schemes, if you can even call him that, that immediately backfire in his face with even the slightest amount of research done into everything he's ever attempted. He's basically a man whose life is surrounded by rakes, and he's wearing clown shoes.
And he's
he
just
can't
stepping right into him and getting it right in the face. It's just like anytime he comes up with one of his harebrained schemes, immediately sends a note to whoever's investigating him and says, "I gave you all the clues."
Yeah, he is in the psychological textbooks in the section for Dunning-Kruger. His face should be right there.
He's a real corn cobber.
He's a very stupid person who believes he's incredibly smart and doesn't seem to learn from any of the times that ends up not being the case.
How don't I keep getting away with it? Of course, though, this time it's no different, and it's being reported by the Daily Beast that failed Republican House candidate Omar Navarro apparently hired Jacob Wohl using funds from his campaign to terrorize women that Navarro thought might deserve it. Specifically, two women who were previously close to the House candidate. One being an ex-girlfriend named Deanna Tesorero, who filed a restraining order against him, and the other being someone who'd previously worked on his campaign named Irini Chasovskaya, who apparently had obtained recordings of Navarro making, quote, crude sexual comments about his Democratic opponent Maxine Waters, and also recordings where he said that he'd planned to take the funding that his campaign had received and invest it in Bitcoin.
Okay.
No.
Cool. It should also be noted here that the ex-girlfriend, Deanna Tesorero, she's the same woman who created one of those weird Trump dating guides titled Making Love Great Again. And both she and Navarro were the ones at the center of that recent Proud Boys debacle involving the claim that the Proud Boys stole his girlfriend and also do cocaine.
That was them.
Yeah, just look it up. Anyways,
there's a lot to unpack with this whole story. And again, there's so much here. Just go read the article because there's so many twists and turns in just this article that I was getting whiplash reading it.
Yeah, there's a whole fucking world out there. I follow it fairly closely for no goddamn reason. I shouldn't, but I follow this shit fairly closely on Twitter.
It's like watching a car crash. You gotta slow down and take a peek.
Even then, like some of the accounts I follow, they'll start talking about some other storyline that I'm completely unaware of. I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Time to do some research. Anyways, according to the Daily Beast, Navarro allegedly enlisted the services of Jacob Wohl, services only he could provide, who used a few different phone numbers to send harassing texts and voicemails to both of those women. This included Tesorero getting threats that Navarro would ruin her career if she successfully received a restraining order against him, and Chasovskaya getting harassing text messages before the court hearing between Navarro and his ex. First wanting to know if she'd be at the courthouse, then going on to include messages like these.
Don't worry, I'll see you soon. It won't be painful. I'm looking forward to watching your soul leave your eyes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'll make it my mission to torture you so much that you end up killing yourself.
Wow, this guy's a real fucking asshole.
You would assume that there would be some kind of crime committed via some kind of law that prevents threatening text messages, especially going so far as to threaten someone's life. But again,
Well,
he's Teflon Wall.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to stick.
When you're famous, they let you do it.
It's pretty scary stuff, obviously, but the numbers where these text messages originated from, they were unknown to the women, and the person sending them was using various names. But one of the numbers was found to be directly connected with Jacob Wohl, and one of the threats directly stated that Navarro would hire Wohl. So,
Jacob, you gotta just go on Google Docs, make a spreadsheet for all of the burner account, like phone numbers you have, and just keep track of what you've used them for, if you've used them publicly before, if they can be, traced back to something else you've done, or if they're clean.
well, Elliot, he has an excuse for that, and we'll get to it. But
Okay.
let's just say that getting caught with a phone number tied to yourself, it's not the first time
No.
that this has happened to Wohl. Because when he went after special counsel Robert Mueller with claims of sexual harassment late last year, the number that he used for that whole scheme belonged to his mom.
Yeah, it's a family affair. Anyways, both Wohl and Navarro have vehemently denied all of this, and Wohl specifically reached out to the Daily Beast to claim that, first off, the number was his, but that it was an incontrovertible fact that I have not had that 949 phone number in almost a year. Fucking South Orange County, goddammit, 949. They're all pieces of shit. I knew it.
He can't leave Orange County because then he loses access to Los Angeles, where all of the liberal hipster coffee shops are, where he sits and listens to conversations about how much they secretly love Trump, but can't say it out loud.
The coffee's so good, but the discourse is so bad. Yeah, he also claimed that it was actually the women trying to frame him, saying, what likely happened? Navarro allegedly threatened to deploy me to act against the interests of this woman. She then looked up my phone number in one of those crappy online databases and found my old number to use in photoshopped or otherwise fabricated messages. I've never worked for Navarro and have only heard about this woman's name upon reading the story.
He used the switchback card on Uno, the reverse. Anyways, he then says that the story's bogus, and if their site doesn't retract it, they'll face legal action. But the site finished their reporting with, quote, "It's hard to know how seriously to take Wohl's words. In June, Wohl admitted to the Washington Post that one of his previous denials to the Daily Beast was, in fact, untrue."
Is this Will Sommer?
Yes, it is.
I have to give a lot of credit. We've covered Jacob Wohl a lot, and over at the Daily Beast, the writer Will Sommer seems to have, he's on the Jacob Wohl beat.
Yes.
Anytime anything involving Jacob Wohl and also involving just online dipshittery, he's the one that covers it. He's great at his job. Thank you, Will Sommer.
Yes. Honestly, the whole article is worth a read, and it goes into way more detail than we could ever hope to summarize here. So again, links are always in the description below. So just go and enjoy that. It's quite a read, and also it does a retelling of his other, I keep calling them schemes, but they're dumber than that. But they throughout the story hyperlink to his past problems.
He's run up quite a...
He's wasted a lot of everyone in the whole country's time, money,
and you would think a prosecutable crime had been committed at some point in here. Well, but I guess law enforcement's busy with other stuff.
Remember, the FBI said they wouldn't confirm or deny that they were looking into Jacob Wohl, especially after he faked a death threat in Minneapolis.
Well, we'll see. As for now, nothing. He's gotten away with all of it. Anyway, finally today, F's in the chat for Loot Crate.
Rest in peace.
Because they're now essentially dead. And the once prominent company specializing in monthly themed mystery boxes filled with nerdy knickknacks mailed directly to your door has officially filed for bankruptcy.
Dun dun.
According to a report from the LA Times, the company is now in dire financial straits. Its credit card processor is withholding customer billings. Loot Crate hasn't shipped goods tied to $20 million in sales. And the company owes more than $30 million in trade debt. It's also behind on more than $5.87 million in sales tax. Uh-oh.
That's a lot of uh-ohs. That's not just a few oopsie whoopsies.
Yeah, that's those. When your numbers look like that, that's when you declare bankruptcy. So at least they're doing that right.
The IRS, they look at different people's tax returns, and if you mess up, typical person gets an oopsie whoopsie stamp. This one's a big yikes red stamp.
Yeah.
Sent it back. They also add that the company recently laid off 50 people and now only has 60 people working for them, which I think is still too much. But that they're trying to sell themselves very quickly during the bankruptcy. I guess to just get bought out and get out scot-free.
I'm gonna call it. It's either gonna be GameStop or Hot Topic is gonna buy them.
Yeah, that's where all the old brands from not our youth, but your youth maybe. That's where they go to die.
If they get bought at all, but I can definitely. Those are the only like brick and mortar stores doing this shit anymore. They, I'm sure, have a lot of inventory that doesn't sell well that they need to clear out. It would make sense for them. Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, maybe the brand itself won't be completely dead if another company can come along and just pick up the scraps. But we doubt you'll ever get to relive the fun of opening a box of toys that you may or may not ever want ever again. At least from Loot Crate specifically in the way that it used to be.
Loot Crate was a great company for, let's say you get a new job at a sort of nerdy focused company, and everyone you work with has an obnoxious amount of fucking trinkets and knickknacks covering their desk. It's a placeholder for their personalities.
Yeah, it's because the company is like, hey, we know it's incredibly depressing to have a job here.
Yeah,
just typing numbers all day.
Nerf gun. Yeah, what?
It's fun. You know what? You can decorate this bland gray cubicle as well as you want. And here's your company-issued laptop, because we don't provide real computers. You have to work off a fucking laptop for your entire career.
Yeah.
Enjoy the carpal tunnel, you piece of shit worker.
Yeah.
But you get to design your cubicle. And you know what? We're not going to pay for it, but we know a company called Loot Crate that can help you design the exact cubicle that fits your personality. And that way, you can eventually be very depressed when you look over at your neighbor who has the exact same trinkets.
Yeah.
Because they're also a Loot Crate.
But don't worry, this company will be out of business in 2 years, and you can take a big old box of that Loot Crate shit down to your favorite nerdy bar, and they'll display it on top of like where they keep the alcohol. True story.
No, it isn't. Anyways, that's it for this week's episode. Today's episode.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. No, we have plenty of more episodes coming up this week, and we also have an exclusive podcast that should be up by the time that this airs. So if you're a Patreon supporter, head over to Patreon, check all the new posts. If you're a YouTube member, check the community tab. If you'd like to join, please use the link below to join and support the show on Patreon. We really appreciate it. In the meantime, we have 2 new episodes for you to watch. We have a episode of Weekly Weird News about America, and then we also have a brand new episode of News Dump about Movie Pass and that man in his barrel. He's sad. What am I going to do?
Great mustache, though.
Movie Pass lasted longer than Loot Crate. Wow. Really makes you drink.